Wednesdays with our topic food, aroma, and essential oils. So today, me and Jill are very excited to talk about the food aroma and a little bit about essential oils. But before we begin, I think Jill has the tarot card reading.
Yeah, I shuffled my deck. My deck is the Spirit Song Tarot by Paulina Faye. So it's a very soft, feminine, shamanic style tarot deck. And the card I drew was Hedgehog. Now, the energies that the message at the bottom, it says comfort and prosperity, and I'm not feeling that. And so I was like, well, what other messages would the hedgehog bring? And I get this like little like feeling of like trudging along, keeping the head down, doing the work, steady as she goes, and like focusing on like going forward, steady state forward. Yeah, not distracted, just focusing, but taking each step at a time. That's the feeling I get from this little hedgehog. It's perseverance, but in a very soft way, I guess. Like just each step at a time. And if I consult the book here for what the author of the guide has to say, let's see, Queen of Crystals, King of Crystals. There we go, little hedgehog. All right. Declutter your mind by getting back in touch with the beautifully simple things in life that already surround you. Yeah, and kind of keep aware of fear, mistrust, toxic environment. So, yeah, interesting. How about you, Maya? What are you feeling for the collectives this week?
So the collectives this week. So let's remind that June 4th, the full moon came. And I'm just wanted to say, how is everyone feeling during this full strawberry moon? Yes, this moon circulates the heart chakra, mostly heart chakra, but also into throat chakra. So I'm just gonna recap what the full moon is. It's about heart chakra. So it's kind of like all this stuff that's still in your heart, processing, integrating information into our body. So I started writing this forecast weekly energy because like for some reasons the messages keep coming like every time we go live. So and not even live, like if people ask me the same thing. So you can go look at my website. So this week's energy theme is about facing shadows. So it's very similar to Jill's tarot card reading, facing shadows. It's about returning like things from the past, like past life mistake, like this life. I'm not talking about past lives, like earlier past life mistakes and flaws can come back. So that doesn't mean like it doesn't mean like they're here to haunt you. They're here to remind you. So those flaws may come back. Sabotaging habits of the past may come back. So like an old habit of yours or something returning, or acknowledging these habits, like because that's what my week was too. It was like sabotaging habits, but I wasn't sabotaging. I was like acknowledging like this is my habit. And like, whoa, yeah, we got to do some cleanup. And this week is also about like it's about like mirror wounds. So this week is also about mending, stuff coming out, stuff that's coming out, and learning to amend it. But we're not going to go in a fast pace. It's going to be very slow because like these energies are coming up, which is these are energies that showing your mirror of yourself. They could be insecurity, shame, blaming people. They're like dirty stuff about you. I just say your dirty little secrets come out about you, and you're looking at it and you're like, beep, denial. It's like beep, didn't happen. Like deny all you want or ignoring it. So it's kind of like what we call like a two face right now. It's like some people are just going to acknowledge it and say, well, just move on. We move forward and we heal. And some people are going to see these ugly shadows And they're like, nope, never happened. And and that's why I said it's a slow process, because this is the week where we're just seeing it. These are coming out, and it's kind of like it's not here to scare us, but it's here to show us that this needs healing. This just needs processing. So that's like this week's. That's why I said it's all about heart chakra. It's about old stuff coming out, and we're just processing it and integrating all this stuff again. What about you, Jill? What about your week? How are you feeling this week?
Oh yeah, lots of emotion stuff. The full moon was like, all right, full moon was like showed me how angry I was. I was like, okay, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, okay, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after I think it was Monday, it was emotions of like a kind of like a surrendering to like fears and trust and some root chakra stuff. And yeah, so it's just been a week. Every day it's been something. It's been something emotional, and I'm just like, I need a break. I'm like, okay, I'll just keep grounding and keep like resting and keep crying and
Yes.
anyway, it's all good. It's all good.
All right. So,
Yeah.
Jill, why don't we
Last
go
week,
ahead?
yeah, we had last week a little quick little recap before we jump into this week's content. We talked about food trauma, food health, and working with our spirit guides and the types of questions you can ask spirit guides around like health and food and how certain foods can really speak to our souls. And so this is our new theme of food medicine and health series. And yeah, and this week, as Maya said, we're doing food aroma and essential oils. So take it away, Maya.
So, the first question we're going to talk about is, what is aroma? So, aroma is all about the atmosphere and environment. So, it's all about smell. It's all about sensing energy through the nose and even opening those sensors in the body. So, aroma opens a deep connection to your awareness and your connection to everything. So, the smell aroma opens the heart chakra. It even opens emotions, memory, increases our sensitivity and awareness of our environment. So sometimes it starts, what I would just say, it opens, like, the fight and flight, energies also. It also opens a lot of the memory and limbic systems, and aroma also opens the neurotransmitters into our body. So it activates the I have a trouble saying it, amygdala, which is the emotions, moods, and motivation. And the aroma also regulates the moods and energy, and it also helps us feel things emotionally, especially in our heart chakra. So aroma opens our awareness and to feelings. So for me is when I connect with aroma really deep. Like sometimes you could connect with aroma, like, oh, that reminds me of my mom. Like that's why I said it opens to memories and stuff like that. Sometimes aroma even opens like again to our awareness to feelings. So sometimes when we smell something, we feel it so deep, and sometimes we could connect it very emotionally. Roma is also an air element, and it's also linked to our nose chakra. So if you feel like you're not connected with like to Roma, you're like, I'm not connecting to it. Yeah, you probably got some nose blocks. So healing with the nose. Our nose chakra connects, helps us detect sensitive energies too. Nose is very important. Nose is what the sense, sensing things. And when our nose is blocked and we don't sense things, we're kind of like I said, we're not aware of things that are happening. So when we are connected to our noses, we create this closer connection to our environment. So our environment and our nose is very important. So that's why it's very important to aroma.
You might ask, what are the types of aroma? Well, we've got aromas coming in with food, herbs, and spices. And we have aromas coming in through essential oils. And both are a type of aromatherapy. But we're going to be talking about aromas and aromatherapy from a spiritual perspective and a health perspective. Um, so foods, herbs, and spices we can get the aromas from those out through steam and heat. So when we're cooking, We have the smells of all the herbs and the steam coming in and kind of filling up your nose and mixing all the energies together with cumin and carrots and cayenne and peppers and all those kinds of things. And creating tea is a kind of herbal aroma. And rose water, very common. Rose water is a type of steamed aroma for rose petals. And essential oils, you can get the scent of the aroma out through rubbing essential oils in creating the heat. You can heat it with like a candle or like water in a candle. You can do cold diffusing to release the aroma, and you can also do some steam. So there's lots of ways to extract the aromas.
Okay, next question is what are the benefits of aroma? So there's many types of benefits. It can help you identify if your nose chakra is blocked. So if you're not connecting, again, if your nose is having, just think about like when you have a cold and your nose is up like that. Okay, you can't smell it. So again, but one of the benefits, so other benefits is it could transport you to another space or time with memories. It can also hydrate your emotional body. It can regulate a lot of moods and emotions. Have you ever connected with aromas or even essential oils and just like smell like I just love this? It just smells so good. um, Other benefits is it opens the heart chakra. It opens a lot of the heart frequencies because aroma is about when we connect and we're feeling it through the heart space. So it also opens the brain and central nervous systems. Sometimes it helps us with the nervous system. Sometimes we want to be in a certain area with a certain aroma because we feel very comfortable with. It's like going to someone's house. Like your aroma, grandma, and mom is different. I'm going to grandma's because her aroma's this. uh, it also allows you to connect with things when you're feeling blocked. Sometimes you don't even know that you're blocked. So the benefits of aroma is that sometimes it can, it helps you unblock things. It also aids in it also aids in like sensories such as like feeling, smelling, touch, and taste. So it can open those frequencies and open in parts of you within your body. It can also make you feel very happy from eating eating aromatic meal that you enjoy. So it could be like when you're eating, like I call it soulful, like soul family, or even your family, and you guys make like really like a lot of aromatic food. I grew up like that with a lot of aromatic food, and you get excited to eat. So that's the benefit of aroma is like you get excited to eat and you're like, oh, it's time to eat. And, and you smell the aroma. Well, I grew up with a lot of like Asian food too. So there's that aroma. So that's why I said like you enjoy eating it. And, every time now and then that you're much older and you still self-reflect, like when you think of the aroma, you're like, oh yeah, I remember I grew up like that. And other benefits is that it brings pleasure into your senses. So sometimes you can feel a lot of pleasure, and sometimes you can even feel like a lot of love flowing in. Just like I'm feeling so much love. Like it changes your like moods, like your moods, and you're just feeling super high and divine. So
How does food aroma affect and benefit us physically, spiritually, emotionally, and psychologically on our spiritual journey? Well, food aroma activates the parasympathetic nervous system or parasympathetic system, opening the spiraling energy and moving the micro energy into the sensory system. Food aroma helps us connect with our body, our thoughts, our emotions, and it opens to the emotional heart and our emotional body into feeling the essence of life, the essence of the food, and the essence of the food alive in our soul. It's a very intimate thing. If when you open up, you feel that aroma, you feel the smell, you feel the love, and all of a sudden it's very intimate. Yeah, the food aroma affects our moods, and it can make us feel very active, motivated to do things and to open our thoughts. We can get inspired to think. We can have a block in our thoughts. or our energy system, and the aroma from food or flowers can move the blocks, shift the blocks, and allows us to integrate the process, like the information that we were was blocking our energy, and they can and all of a sudden these maybe thoughts appear in your head that you haven't had for months, so it can just totally shift things for you. It can make people feel warm and loved. It brings that feeling of security and safety and love, that kind of divine love feeling. It's really a divine connection to food and smell and sense and the earth, really. It connects us deeper into our soul and can make someone feel more comfortable of eating foods if they have food disorders or food anxiety, and by creating something that a familiar smell that helps them relax.
All right. Thank you, Jill. All right. Question number 5. What are essential oils? And then we have question 6 also together. So we just have this question together, which is what are essential oils and how can essential oils improve our well-being and emotional health? So essential oils are aromas and essence of plants, trees, and their products are concentrated or diluted liquid forms. So how can essential oils improve our well-being and emotional health? So they are a tool to our everyday wellness. They also aid us in reducing temporary health inflammation. So if you're having, like, let's just say you're having health inflammation, or you're having colds, or even flus, or immune system. So essential oils can help you with that. Sometimes you can even mix essential oils with other stuff. Like for example, like you're not feeling well. Like, for me, I know, like, I'm not feeling well, and sometimes I'll add essential oils into my bath salts just so then I could just take it back. So it's, again, it can help reduce health inflammation sometimes, especially with colds and flus. And it can also, like, again, improve the immune system. Lemongrass is really good for the immune system. So sometimes just having that, lemongrass constantly. And it's not always like it's cleaning. It's always that, it's almost like when you smell the essential oil, it's like your brain starts saying, yes, it's being consumed, but it's not really consumed. So it also reduces anxiety, depression from long recovery, mental health. So sometimes essential oils can help they kind of like activate some of the neurotransmitters or even the serotonins and stuff like that into your brain. So then when we're sort of feeling depressed and just that smelling that scent of essential oils, it just kind of like our mood swings change, and our brain goes, what? That makes a huge difference. I know that frankincense has done, that works for me. There's other ones that really help also, which is lavender, but, like, again, essential oils, it makes a huge difference in, especially with people who are struggling with anxiety, depression, or any type of mental health. Essential oils also can help us ground, relax, uplift, and improve circulation, help like a lot of achy muscles, and even bring happiness. So yes, so there's some essential oils that is grounding for us, and sometimes essential oils can help keep us relaxed, meaning like helping us fall asleep. And sometimes it can also improve concentration. So if you feel like, I even have this spray bottle, it's called like meditation. And and it's supposed to help me, meditate or being more, focused and concentrated. So um, we can even put essential oils even at, like, for me, I put it in spray bottles and I leave it at work and I spray it in the room, which helps people have more concentration. So for me as a massage therapist, with essential oils to improve the well-being and, emotional health of my clients, I spray in the room is so the clients can all focus, being more relaxed. Anyways, and essential oils can help with people who have a lot of, tightness, aiming like with achy muscles. And like you can mix essential oils with almost anything, I would just say. You just kind of have to find, what kind of works for you. Like for me, I like mixing essential oils with oil sometimes because I massage people, but then sometimes I just sometimes I like the smell, and and the essential oil is like it's too like way too diluted. So I need to like and I feel like my skin is like it'll because you'll know when it's too diluted liquid form first because then your skin gets really itchy. First time I'll tell you my story. First time when I got essential oil, and I thought, oh, it's like those other essential oil where you could put on your skin, and then it's like, oh man, this is itchy. It's like, and I was taking a bath too, so it made my whole skin. So anyway, um, and essential oils can also help you clear a lot of blocked nose and cold with steam. So, anyways. So, we're going to just talk a little about essential oils and our experience with essential oils. So, my experience with essential oils. So, I'm going to talk about my experience. I'm going to be honest and frank with you. People think, like, hey, you're into essential oils now. Well, I'm going to tell you, I didn't like essential oils in the beginning. I'm just going to be you because I'm just like very like direct how it is with me. At first, I thought essential oils was dumb. Like, like it was like, why is everyone into this stupid shit? Like, that's just how I was like, it's dumb. Like, it's a fad, or people are trying to make all these knockoff versions, or people are trying to conspire money off. That's just how I am. Okay, that was my back in the day egotistic way. Okay, that was just how. But that's when I didn't touch essential oils. But I didn't get into essential oils probably a little deeper until last year, to be honest. I think before, like there was like it's called we call it the essential oil baby phase, kind of like, oh, you're exposed, okay, like you just know like lavender or sage, the basic stuff, but you don't really explore with it as much. So I didn't get into it until last year with essential oils, and then it got more and more, and it seemed to me while I was exploring essential oils like, oh, okay, so every single one had different one. I didn't get it until I actually bought it. So when I actually bought like different types of scent, I was like, "Ooh, this smells good." And they would open certain energy, like certain like moods, energies, and being open and activate some areas. For me, it was like, okay, let's be honest. I think orange is dumb. That's just how I am. Okay, like the essential oil orange. Okay, in my mind, I was like, who creates essential oils with fruits? Like that's so fruity. That's what I was thinking. And then like I smell it and like, oh, it smells really good. Like after a few times.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So that's why I said like essential oils. When at the beginning, if you're not into it, that's totally normal. From my experience with essential oils, very normal for you to be hard headed, thinking essential oil is dumb. And the reason you think it's dumb is because you need it. You're that's how blocked you could be. You could be so blocked, and that's what I call a nose block. It's like, why is everyone digging into this? Why is my friend so into essential oils? Why is other people? Because it really opens a lot of these like I call it the sensors in your body. It opens to feeling, and feeling deep in emotion. It opens to connecting to things. So I'm gonna tell you how I which essential oil, not which essential oil, but how I got deep into essential oil. So I bought these like fragrance oil, and there's a difference between fragrance oil and essential oil. So I use fragrance oil, and believe it or not, they open, like they activate me, like in a strange way. Like they're not like essential oils. So fragrance oils, I call it the knockoff of the essential oils, what I call it. So like the fragrance oil is like because they're like very girly, and I kept and they the fumes just keep smelling, and I'm like, oh, you smell so good. But then like the essential oils would start activating it, start opening my head, right? And it opened a lot of the like sacral energies. So I started connecting with essential oils when the sexual energy started opening up. I'm like, woo. So that's why I say like that's why I was like, for me, essential oil, like how it started was lame, like super lame, because like it had activated like the sexual energy. The essential oil had to open the sexual energy for me. And I said that's normal if you're like connecting with essential oil and you're kind of like, it feels so like if you're like, I just say with your sexual, like with your sexual energy within yourself, if you're ashamed of your sexual energy, I just say you're not gonna connect with essential oils. Well, you're gonna be like, you're gonna be like protective of yourself. But like, when your sexual energy has been blocked for a long time, and then you smell essential oils and you start working with essential oils and it starts opening your sexual energy, then it's like, what the heck is this? Like, it's like, who put drugs in here? But it's not really drugs. It's just that you've been super blocked, and essential oils can actually change that. That's why I call it a mood. It opens the mood within you, and it opens like some of the emotions within me too, which is like, I know that at one point I was lemongrass was really big for me. It was like, it was opening like it was opening like I call it the skin energy, like something with my skin. It was opening the skin. I had basil at one point, and basil was grounding at one point. Then it stopped. So when you're with the journey with essential oils, it's like if you go here and you stop, you're into the essential oils and you stop like one fragrance from another fragrance, from one scent to another scent. It just means like your body is just healing, your body is connecting, and every essential oil has a different experience for us, and it sometimes even opens into the memory. um if you ask me what my favorite essential oil is, I would probably just say rose. Rose is the one that really opens sexual energy. It doesn't open my sexual energy. So if you feel like, I like rose, for example, like, you like rose at the beginning because it opened your sexual energy, it opened the arousal within you, right? And then you're like, well, I'm with Rose, but how come it doesn't work the same way? Because at the time you needed Rose, and you're not attracted to Rose anymore. It's because you healed, you know. So don't get like disappointed. What about you, Jill?
Well, I first got exposed to essential oils when I was in my early 30s, probably 20 years ago now. And I was happened to be at some sort of like, I don't know, craft fair, and there was a person there selling it. And I was just like, whoa, this is amazing. And I bought like, I don't know, 10 different things. And I had diffusers going in my car, and I had like all these things going around the house. And I was really into essential oils for like, I don't know, 10 years. I have bought a recipe book and everything. And then I got out of them in my 40s. I didn't do them at all. And but I got back into essential oils probably 4 years ago. So in my late 40s, I got back. So I had about like a 10-year break in between, like maybe I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 years break. And I got back into essential oils 4 years ago. And I started to I bought a diffuser when I first moved to my house where I'm currently living now, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing! It fills up the house. It was so amazing. I can't believe I was like not without these ones, like without these essential oils for like 10 years or more. But now I put them in everything. It's just like everything. It's like I sleep with them at night. I relax with them. I make sprays for like clearing and relaxing. I put them in my facial products, my body products, my soap products. I put them in my cleaning products. I can make my own house cleaning supplies, like for washing like the sinks and the tubs and the counters and things. I make my own deodorant. I use like tea tree, frankincense, and lavender. I use them to ground. Like at one point I was using sandalwood quite a bit, not so much now. Yeah, and it's true story. In my 30s, I didn't like ylang ylang. I don't know how to pronounce it, but yang lang, whatever that one is. And I was just like, whoa, that's gross. Like I totally smelled it. I was like, I'm never buying that. I'm in my 30s. And now, just in the last, I would say like week or 2 weeks, I love it. I was totally attracted to it at the store. I gave it a try. Like I opened up the bottle, I opened it up, and I was like, oh my God, I like it. Oh my God. And so now I'm like putting it all over my body. Anyway, it goes to show you that like just because you hate things, at one point, give it another try after a few years, and then next thing you know, you're loving it. So
How many years is that afterwards?
I know it was a couple years. I was like probably 3 years to get me to a point to like Yang Lang. Oh, it's so funny. Yeah. So anyway, my story has been yeah, I travel with them. I always bring like a small little thing of like tea tree because it's good for like infections and bacterias and things like that. Yeah, anyway, I got my own personal kit of essential oils. Yeah. All right. So, ways we can heal with essential oils. Well, you can apply them on the skin, the wrist, or your clothing to open the channels for your nose and the aroma to pick it up. So, for example, before I went live, knowing that we were doing aromas today, I was like, okay, sage, here we go. Here we go, essential oil sage. And I wiped it all over my shirt and my hair and everything like that. It was beautiful. This, by doing it on the skin, wrist, or clothing, it opens the serotonin and helps assist the serotonin and dopamine levels to relax, and that helps with anxiety and depression. Essential oils can be added to humidifiers, oils, baths, salts, massages, facials, bar soaps, room sprays, everything. The scents can help the mind and body remain calm. You can apply them directly on a chakra, on a place on your body that is in need of healing. You can apply them on your bracelets, your keychains. You can put it on like a car diffuser, just a little piece of cardboard, and the hot air from your heating vent can like fill your car up with beautiful essential oils. You can take some plain lotion and then a few drops of essential oil in the lotion and rub the lotion all over you to ground and connect. You can put a few drops in your hands and just smell like that to completely for various reasons, whatever you're working with. You can use it for grounding. You can open up your heart. You can, if you got a headache, you're not feeling well, you just got to connect emotionally with it. And then you can also use it in your spiritual practice, where you start off with an essential oil in your hands as the beginning of your sacred space creating, and to help you surrender to something in your shadow work, or your block, or to help you release a block, or to release some emotion. You can put a few drops of essential oils in your bath. You can rub them on your feet to help sore tense muscles. You can also press energy points in your feet as well, while you have essential oils on your feet or on your hands while you're doing yoga. You can do the yoga energy point essential oil combo, which is very helpful.
Yes, thank you, Jill. Yeah, there's many ways to work with essential oils. I think like, I mean, for me, sometimes I put it on me. So I put it. Okay, so for me, I put it on my pillow before I go to bed.
Nice.
So I put mine on the pillow because so then when I sleep, I'm kind of like in a relax. Although I would have to admit that my pillow scent, it's every night is a different scent. But like, anyway, so there's many ways you could put in your pillow. Some people I have room sprays. Sometimes I even have one in the bathroom too. Yes, because yes. Keep our dirty root chakras. Anyway, so essential oils. So me and Jill are gonna go through some lists of what are some of our essential oils that we use for. So best for anxiety and depression. So my list is frankincense. I don't know about Jill's.
For me, anxiety is a lavender. Depression would be more like a citrus.
Citrus, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. Best for nervousness, like being nervous or tension. So mine is lavender in that point. anything lavender or anything flowery to keep me, to keep my tension. What about you, Jill?
For me, it's if I'm feeling nervous, there's two things. I need to ground, so so I usually like any kind of like cedarwood, sandalwood, any kind of like that kind of starts. But then I like to follow with something softer, so I can soften and like calm my nervous system down. And I'm really loving jasmine for that. I'm really loving jasmine. Like I made my own perfume and it was jasmine that was the biggest part of the perfume. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, grounding. So for me, it's sage, Palo Santo, cedar, and tea tree. I mostly would just say, like, for me, I like cedar the most. I feel grounded with cedar. Sage sometimes, but not all the time. Anything like really wood, wood scent, like it's so
Yeah.
deep, like cedar works for me. What about you, Jill?
Yeah, I've got cedarwood and the sandalwood as my grounders. But a little Palo Santo, very interesting. I do like the smell of that as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so our next list is rage and anger. So I have clary sage. Lavender works too. If you I've been to have clary sage, but there's lavender also kind of works there. And what about you, Jill?
Rose.
Rose.
Yeah.
You're like putting
Like
that
rose,
rose on.
rose me, rose me, rose me. Yeah.
Okay, so our next one on our list is repel negativity. So my list is peppermint, sage, and blood dragon. What about you, Jill?
I would say just sage. I kind of use
Sage.
that as a shielding. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Best for nurturing. For me, I feel like fruity scents or rose, kind of like I was like it would be like the orange, the lemon, um, even like rose geranium works too. What about you?
Nurturing. Yeah, I'm loving geranium. So I make a lip gloss and I put geranium in it and everything. I just love it. It just like the scents just hit, especially right with the lips so close to the nose. I'd always smell it. It makes me very relaxed. Yeah, nurturing, very warm inside.
All right, so balance. For me, it's peppermint and citrus eucalyptus. It's the citrus version, okay, not the globe. Is it globius? The other version.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
I'm noticing. I didn't know that there was like another version. It's like this, but this one's weird. It's like the lemon mixed with the eucalyptus. It smells really good. What about
Huh.
you, Jill?
For balance, I like blue tansy. There's something about that. It's just like, woof. It, like it just brings me back in, like, just like I feel like more aligned with that one, blue tansy. Yeah.
Okay. Next one on list. Best for feminine. Okay. So me, it's more like the flower scent, lavender, jasmine, and chamois. What about you?
I love jasmine as well. Divine jasmine. I love it. I'm like I said, I'm loving Yang Lang lately. That has a very interesting, complex scent for me. Like when I smell Yang Lang, I smell like there's I smell a four like a scent and at the first part of my nose, and then at the end I smell the back of my nose, and it's just I find it very I don't know, grounding in a sensual way, I guess, like a grounding energy of soft grounding feminine energy. Anyway.
Okay, so best for masculine. So I have peppermint, eucalyptus, probably even tea tree.
For me, I would say probably more like the sandalwood, like the
Yeah.
woods. Yeah, for me, that would be my kind of masculine. It helps me just drop in a little bit deeper.
All right, Jill. What about you for best for sex and expanding love life?
Yeah, I would say any of the flowers. Like I would say like I didn't consider Yang Lang, but now I'm like, maybe that's why I'm interested right now. Rose for sure. Any of the flowers, geranium, yeah, like something soft and sensual.
Yeah, it's usually like it's almost like the flower. I wouldn't say too fruity, but like kind of like a fruit flower mix. I would just say any blend
Yeah.
that's kind of mixed in. Yeah, me is mostly rose. Yulin, it's the same also. Even like geranium also. Okay, so best for heart opening. So mine is again orange, lemon. I had at one point like basil and lemongrass. You
Mhm.
mean, yeah, basil and lemongrass. What about you?
Heart opening. I would say I got to go with the flowers again. There's something about that, just softness. I love flowers. I keep them like all over my yard. I yeah. Anyway, flowers.
Okay. What about manifesting? All right. What oils are good for manifesting?
Honestly, I never even considered it in that way before until I saw your list. I was like, what? Yeah, like manifesting. Wow, I never really thought of it. But
Yeah.
yeah, and I can see how Mai has cinnamon on her list, and I can totally see how that would. It's kind of got this spicy, earthy, fiery, you know, kind of vibe to it. And I can totally see how that would that work. But yeah,
Yeah, like my manifesting oils, it would be basil, cinnamon, and spearmint. So, and then back in the day, like I used to mix like these oils. I would mix. I would use herbs and then I mix it with essential oils. And this is when I was doing like rituals and stuff like that, like sacred rituals for myself. And I was doing it in my bath, putting like, earth and herbs into my bath. But I found out that it's not good for the bath when it comes to draining stuff. So no. So, but I would mix it with basil, cinnamon, and all kinds of different ones. But it was like my manifesting bath. But basil's is really good. If you're kind of like, what did I make? I made this. Oh yeah, I was making this like, I forgot, like the flower essence of basil, and I mixed it in with like some vodka from myself. And I was like in the vodka, like, okay, don't get like cool ideas from me. I just tend to have that idea. I'd be like, yeah, I want something like, a little vodka, but then I added like like I had an infused basil, but it's not like, but it's an herb infused basil and I put it into vodka. I'm like, yeah, I'm manifesting with this vodka. But anyway, so manifesting. So basil's really good. Mine's cinnamon. Mine's always cinnamon, and spearmint. I didn't know how much spearmint can help you manifest. It was until I made my spray bottles, and when I went to work every morning, I was like spray the room before, or in my office space, right? And I was spraying spearmint, and my nose went, "Hello, manifesting." It's like, so that's when I figured. So anything minty, I wouldn't say like not like peppermint, but like spearmint, like very soft mint, is really good for manifesting.
interesting. Well, I'm so happy to hear that. I've just planted a bit of a mint bush in my backyard, and I was like, what am I going to do with all this mint? It's just like it's going crazy, right? So maybe I'll just make some essential oils or something with it to see what I can do.
All right, Jill. I have one that's not on the list. Protection.
Ah, hmm. Protection.
Which
Oh,
which
frankincense for me.
would be frankincense? Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So protection, it'd be myrrh. Myrrh is a really good one for protection. I forgot what it's called. There's another one that I have that's really good. Oh, juniper. Yeah, juniper is really good for protection. Juniper, and then I wouldn't say frankincense is okay. I like mixed. I would just say combo is probably for protection, but I say frankincense, frankincense and sage, palo santo, and then juniper. I like adding a little juniper to it. And then dragon blood. For some reason, dragon blood just it's really good. But anyways, just infusing those together.
Very cool. I like that. Right on.
All right, so we're gonna go on to the next one. Okay, healing. So me and Joe are gonna give out some advice about healing with aroma. Aroma is an essential oil. I call it aroma is essential to life, and it enhances our well-being, and it opens our senses, and it opens our awareness. So we can get triggered. One thing I want to also know is that we can get also triggered by essential oils in aroma. Um, there's times where I get triggered with essential oils. Like you'll know when you're triggered because like when you smell like, oh, your friend's like, hey, smell this, smells so good. And I'm like, okay, no, not for me. So you could get triggered by essential oils is because it opens what it call like you know how you some people have different states of emotions that some have experienced and some are more traumatized. And sometimes when we smell certain senses, especially like essential oils, we get super triggered because like that memory or that it brings a certain feeling back. And that just means that it just needs healing. But just to know that's normal to get triggered by essential oils. Even aroma is the same way. I still don't like cayenne. I'm still trying to figure out why I hate spices, like super spicy food. Aroma also helps us to connect on a deeper level with emotions. So like when we're connecting with aroma, it's like it's when you connect on a deep level, it's like it's very emotional, it's very beautiful, and it's very deep. So aroma has its own language. Even though we don't see that, it has its own language of defining. And the language of aroma is about feeling and connecting. And sometimes when we connect so deep, it gets really emotional. So when you're connecting with your emotional body, aroma, and you're like into essential oils, you're really into aroma, it's because you're connecting on a deeper level. So, and I also want to also say that food is also our connection to our emotions. When we eat food, we emotionally connect with it. So I noticed that if you ever pay attention about you and your food connection, which is that's why we have our food course, when you don't connect with food so well, you're just like, I'm just eating this because I think it's healthy for me. But if you're not connecting with on an emotional level with food, then it kind of feels like, there's no relationship. But when you connect with food and emotional level, and like when you connect food on an emotional level and you're like, not just emotional, but you also smell the aroma of what food you're eating, then it's like most likely you're gonna continue eating it, and you have this deep what I call soul food connection. So you have a connection there. But when we don't have a soul food connection, with the aroma or not connecting with the food we eat, then we tend to have really bad habits. Is what I say, bad habits, or like yeah, bad habits, or just like this is stupid, or we're not healing. Because when we connect with food on a deeper level, an emotional level, and not just an emotional level, like with aroma, in that environment aroma, and just connecting with food, then we have this deep connection with food. But when we don't have a deep connection, then it's kind of like it's not healing. So my point is like when we connect food on a deeper level, we kind of nourish ourselves, we heal ourselves with food. And when there's no connection, no emotional connection with food, then we don't really heal. We're just here being zombies eating food because this is what they gave us. you know um, when we are happy or angry, this is what I found this fascinating yesterday. Okay, well, not yesterday, but a few days ago. Pay attention to your emotional states when you eat. When we are angry or happy, we use food as a way to interpret our emotions when we eat. Do you do that, Jill? It's like,
Well, I have done, yes, yes. The answer is yes. And in particular, I notice when I want chips, like crunchy, like rah, like crunch, 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 crunch. I've got some anger to process. Um, yeah, and I notice when I crave like soups, I feel like I want like something nurturing and warm and something that makes comforting. I notice when I want salads, I want raw foods. It's because I'm trying to like manage my fire, my anger. So like I'm like my raw, like the crunchiness of like the raw carrots, the raw celery. I'm trying to like manage my fire, right? Because it's cooling for like the raw foods, like cool the fire. Anyway, a lot of salads this week.
Is that what your week was this week? Was salad?
Yeah.
This week it wasn't salad for this week. It was kind of like, so I've been going on the back to the lazy habit, and I'm reminding myself like, why are you doing that again? So it's me slowly, but when I know that I'm going on the lazy habit, so the lazy habit is when, again, that's why I said aroma and nose chakra is very important. So when you start being lazy, like I noticed when I'm starting being lazy about my eating habits, and that means that my nose energy is slowly disconnecting, or like my I'm not as connected to my nose energy. So when I feel like I'm not connected to nose energy, then I know that I don't want to do like what I call a steamy food. So I like to steam food, and I like to make like kind of like soup. I call it intuitive soul food, which is like soup which you created, and it's, I call it soul food because you're connecting food on an emotional level. So when I stop doing that, it doesn't mean I don't need healing. It just means Maya is becoming backly lazy, and the reason is because sometimes your energies, your I call it the face energy, is not as connected in line. So
Awesome. And for me, like any advice I would give to people around aromas is be observant of yourself. Try things. Know what you don't like the smells of, but don't give up on it. Like save it for later. That thing needs healing. Yeah, exactly. Don't give up on it. Like my story with the ylang lang. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah. There's like and like food aroma. I know that's like, people don't really talk about it. So food aroma does open. Sometimes it opens memories. When you smell it. So I grew up with food aroma, and you'll know what food aroma is. So like for Asians, they like to make pepper, right? And the whole entire room is smell the pepper. That is what we call aroma. So it could be cayenne, but for me is like hot pepper or dry hot pepper. And like I'll tell you how the aroma is. So it's too much in the house when it's like ghost pepper, hot pepper, and you're like, it's like, and you're joking like it's a little too much aroma here, but that's how I
Yeah.
call it. But because like I grew up like that every time, because I'm an adult now, I'm like, okay, like your nose gets so sensitive, like okay. So sometimes with food aroma, sometimes you grow up with certain food aroma, right? And sometimes I say it could be painful because if you grew up a certain way with a lot of food aroma and soul food, and the only painful thing about it is like, if it's your grandma in the kitchen, and sometimes your grandma's not here anymore, and you smell that aroma or you're connected to that aroma again, sometimes it brings in the memories of grandma and the saddening that grandma's not here. So those are like some pitches, some things about food aroma. Some food aroma brings like memories, open certain memories, which is now you're adult, right? And back in the childhood, mom was making like, we grew up pork. They like making pork. They like making pork soup. Okay. And like for me now, like whenever that aroma comes back into me, adulthood, it's like, no, thank you. It's like what I call food trauma. No, thank you. No, thank you. So things could get triggered, or sometimes it could be like, oh yeah, I remember when mom made that. Yeah, I need to make that in my kitchen today. Like it could be triggered like that.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
would just say like it doesn't have to be essential oils with food aroma. It doesn't have to be essential oils with aroma. It's also, I call it food aroma. Another aroma that I love is, even herbs or tea.
Mm.
Sometimes when I'm making a tea, right? and it's not like it's not being done yet. Like it's so hot, but I love the steam that comes from the tea, and I'll put my nose in it. But like sometimes I don't even smell it, but then like somehow the tea and the steaming of the tea, like it kind of activates the particles in my nose, and for some reason it kind of like opens the channels in my body. But like again, that's kind of like aromas. Some aromas and teas are very strong, and some are not as strong. So
Yeah, for me, I love. I don't know in the States if you have David's tea there, but David's tea has some very interesting combinations of flavors. And my favorite David's tea is dragon. Dragon, something with the word dragon in it. And it's got this fruity, lovely, and when I steep
with
it,
drag, are you talking about dragon fruit?
yes, that kind of thing. And it's very fruity tea, yeah. And the smell just kind of like, oh yeah, it's just lovely. It's just lovely. I think it's geranium in there. That is the big one of the additions he puts in there. So anyway, that's what I
Amazing.
love. Yeah.
Amazing.
Mhm.
All right. So, Jill, we're coming
Yeah.
at the end of our lives. So next week we're going to be so next week me and Jill have decided that we will not be here next week and the next 2 weeks. So, I will be in Canada actually on Saturday, and I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. So me and Jill will not be here for 2 weeks. But after 2 weeks of what day is that? Come like past solstice, which is on
28th.
yeah, the
The
20th.
28th.
So
Yeah.
we'll be live back at the 28th. So before we talk about the retreat, I'm gonna just let everyone know that because we're not gonna be live, that the solstice is coming, and what is it? Yeah, the solstice will be coming. I think is the solstice on a Wednesday, right? Is it in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, it's like a Tuesday, I think it is. Yeah, Tuesday, 21st. I can't quite
So
recall off the top of my head.
so before we get into our other stuff about the retreat, okay, so new moon comes up, right? And then solstice. So that indicates for us that a new journey is opening. So whatever you're trying to open, the new journey this week is still the week of, like setting intentions, creating space, making way to that new doorway. This week might be you're probably doing it, but you're just not aware. I mean, like for me, I'm not aware I'm doing it. Like I'm like, well, we have something like I have ideas for the solstice for me, and it's like higher self is like we're already doing that. There's not you're not you may not even be aware you're actually doing it. So it
Yeah.
might and if you have something you're setting attention for the solstice with with your higher self, highest version, you already it's probably been doing, but it might just be that we're just clearing this clutter. So if you're kind of person this week like I'm doing this stupid clutter, it's probably because you're preparing for solstice energy. So anyways, this week is still the week of clearing. And next week would be, I would just say still clearing if you're trying to like fully manifest. New moon is to open a doorway, something big, because solstice energy is a lot of solstice energy coming out. It's a lot of solstice energy. I just say this is probably a good summer to manifest because right now people may not be feeling that solstice coming. Some are not feeling, some are starting feeling, and that depends how sensitive you are to solstice energy. For me, I'm not feeling a lot of it, but I meditated on it and I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be one of those after effects. Crazy. And I was like, so if you're not feeling it, it's gonna be the after. This solstice is what I call the slow after effect. So it's gonna be like slowly, right? I think like a week after solstice, maybe a few days after solstice, it'll be really fiery. So it's gonna be very fiery, very active. So I said it's a manifester. So don't be disappointed. Like I'm not getting the results in the solstice. It's one of those where it's just slowly it's going your way, but it's just slowly doing it. Which is good. So just want people to update that because we're not going to be on for a couple of weeks about solstice. So I just say keep setting intentions, keep manifesting, keep co-creating, keep being inspired and motivated. Don't stop. Keep going. Keep going. It's you're getting there. All right, Jill.
Yeah.
So to let people also know that the next topic we'll be talking is about food consciousness, and that's when we come back. So I'm me and Jill, very excited to talk about food consciousness. And then we'll be talking about food relationship and grounding and safety afterwards. And go ahead, Jill. Let's talk about our retreat.
Yeah, well, holy moly. It's like Maya and I leave like next week, next Wednesday, to go up to this remote location. And it's like, I'm starting to like feel it. I'm like excited, getting excited. Yeah. And yeah, it's like very, very nature oriented. Like I just emailed out the owners, you know, is there any bears active in the area?
Oh, it was after I sent you that video. It's like I,
It
I was looking, I was looking, and I was like, oh, maybe Jill, you should probably look at this. Is there bears? I saw this.
was.
Yeah, I found an old video on
Yeah,
their Facebook page.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm very excited. So it's kind of like, where the retreat is kind of like, there's a lot of trees, there's a lot of
Yeah.
nature. And then there's like that one, the Lake Vendette right there. So it's really nice. I just say, so today, not today, but yesterday, I was like, man,
I can't hear you, Mai. Maybe something happened to Mai's computer there, but yeah, we're both really excited to have you join us. There is a few spots left, but please, if you are thinking of it, please contact us right away. There is a few spots left, but we have to start. Yeah, we got to finalize the numbers. So please, if you are interested, just let us know. Yeah, thanks so much. Okay, all right. Well, I think we've come to the end of our live. I still can't hear you, but maybe you'll just maybe wave goodbye to to everyone, and we'll sign off. And we'll see everyone back on June 28th, where we talk about food consciousness. And that one is a big one for Maya and I because we're energy sensitives and both vegans, so it'll be a good one. We'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye everyone.